Are doing well today. It is Wednesday, middle of the week. A lot of different things going on, and just trying a different day this week with what we have scheduled. So, a little bit different day, a little bit different time today, but I hope all of you are doing great and your weeks are going well. You're getting things done, you're going after your goals, and crushing it. We're definitely trying to do the same over here. A lot of things going on, a lot of things happening, which is making life a little bit crazy. But on top of that, we're getting ready, or I'm getting ready for the Rogue Invitational, which is coming up here at the end of the month. So I've still got a couple harder training sessions that are coming up that I've got to get through and got to handle. But knock on wood, I feel like the new diet is paying off. Things are moving in the right direction. So that is definitely a good thing right now, and I'm feeling good about that. I need to knock a couple things off the list here as far as training goes, but the work has been put in up to this point, so I'm feeling all right overall. And yeah, just kind of last couple big sessions to get done here, and then we're gonna rock and roll and finish up and get ready to get out to Texas and do that contest here at the end of the month. So let's jump into questions. Thank all of you for jumping on today and being a part of it. So good afternoon, Brian. Hope all is well. I appreciate that. I hope you're doing well also. I have an idea for a piece of equipment that can be used as a strongman event and wanted to get your input on them. Safety, realistic, etc. What would be the best way to run my idea by you? Thank you. I would say, for something like that, probably the best way is going to be to email. Just email the website, email Shaw Strength. That would be probably the best way. And then I can try to take a look at it and see what you got going on. And again, I've had a lot of people that have emailed me about different things and that type of thing. So based on what you're trying to do, I can try to look at it and maybe give you a couple basic things from there. But it really depends on what you're looking for from me and what you would like me to do with it. So email is probably going to be the best way, at least initially, for sure. Is it just my feet or is everyone else frozen? Says waiting. Hopefully you're not frozen and waiting. I'm hoping so. If you let me know, but it looks like you posted again. So hopefully we're all right. If you were only to if you were going to only get one log to start training with, which would it be? Rackable log or normal log? I would say normal log would be what I would go with because you're going to be able to get more use out of that, at least initially. So you can do more actual strongman event training. And with a rackable log, you're a little bit more limited with what you can do with it, although it does certainly have its place in your training. But the rackable log is also thinner. So most contests, by and large, I would say a 12-inch log is your most normal log that you're going to see. So that is what I would say to go with if you can do that. But both of them are, like I said, both of them are going to have their place in your training. But a 12-inch log is one of the very first pieces of equipment that I actually bought and got in for my training, and I feel like that was a really good investment at that point. So I feel like that is the way that I would do that again uh, as well. So let's see. Sorry. So Ryan, I did email and they said this was the best way to get my idea to you. So I got a note. Sorry, I'm just reading a couple things. Got a note. So in the email, if you did email, I'm guessing that you did based on the notes. Carrie just let me know here. So if you're not wanting to share your idea via the email, I don't know that there's a lot that I can actually do as far as that goes. You know, like I said, I get approached about a lot of different things and I'm not saying, you know, that some of them are good, some of them are bad or whatever. And you know, some of those things, there are people that are wanting me to get involved with the project or be an investor in the project or, you know, different things like that. So that could be, you know, a way to go. But again, you know, I'm assuming you don't want to type it into the live feed here as well. So maybe come back with an email that has a little bit more detail as far as that goes, just so myself and my team can understand the best way to approach that. What's some advice for someone, me, who is wanting to enter their first ever competition next summer? So next summer, that gives you a good timeline from right now to try to work on the basics, right? So if you're getting ready for your first contest, what I would say is look at the programming that's put here on the Shaw Elite Club. And on there, what we're doing with that programming is basically you're rotating between a lot of the most common events that you might see. So, you know, we do log, we do axle, we do dumbbell. We're doing some yoke training. We're doing farmers, frame, stones, some throwing, and then mixed in with a couple dynamic events like maybe some front carries and things like that. But it's going to help you to build a really good base as far as your training goes. And then, you know, of course, you're doing the squatting and deadlifting, pressing mixed in during the week with your training as well. So those are really good ways to kind of build that foundation up. Once you are able to figure out what the events are for that competition, then you can fine tune your training a little bit more. But by and large, the most important thing going into your first contest is you want to have the best base that you possibly can. So if you think if you're going to build a big house, you got to have a good foundation for that to stand on. So at the end of the day, your major multi-joint movements like squat, deadlift, pressing, those type of things you want to build up in the gym and have that, and then, you know, transfer that over to event training and try to apply it. But at this point, make sure that you're not going too heavy with your training. You're getting your technique down right and you're not compromising your form to build up and go heavier than you should at this point. So, you know, when your form breaks down, try to be disciplined in stopping at that point. But, you know, set small goals leading up to it. I would say that's the best way to approach it and, you know, jump in, have a good time with it. And it's one of the most enjoyable things that you can do as far as competing and setting those goals and trying to, you know, track your progress and get ready for something like that. But I'm excited for you, and hopefully all of that prep goes well and you can go in there and have fun and hopefully do great with it. Hey, Brian, I was wondering if you're going to do a follow-up video to tell us more about your basketball cards. So we had planned when I pulled that out, we had planned to go down and do a, you know, kind of get a estimate, if you will, of what some of them were worth. And, you know, we did kind of check into that a little bit. But the way that the cards are, you need to get a lot of them graded. And so then you have to like find you know, one of the grading companies and either send them out to them or, you know, coordinate when they're going to be in your area. So it turned into a little bit more than I was expecting initially. I kind of thought we'd be able to get an estimate, but it really, really depends on the grade of the older cards, especially. So that's kind of where we were at. You know, some of the probably the 86 Jordan sticker that I showed in the YouTube video is probably the most valuable card that I have. And that card could range anywhere from probably like on the lower end, if it was graded really bad, maybe like, you know, $5,000 to $10,000. And on the upper end, it could be worth a lot. But you know, I'm not sure where it would end up grading. I don't know how good of a grade it would get. So that's kind of where we left off with the cards. But it's something that, you know, I still have them stored, and, you know, at some point when I maybe have a little bit more time or want to dedicate a little bit more time to that, when I'm not trying to run businesses and run, Shaw Classic contests and do literally everything else that I'm doing. And things maybe slow down, then I might jump back on that a little bit more. But, something I still love, and it's really cool to look back on some of those things that I got when I was literally a kid growing up and still have them. So, uh, let's see. Afternoon, Brian. I hope that your day is going great. It is going great. Getting a lot of stuff done, which is awesome. You've been a big inspiration on my transformation. I was wondering if there is an update on undefined nutrition pre-workout restock. Thanks. Well, number one, I really appreciate that and commend you on your transformation. I hope that you've been able to set goals for yourself and keep rocking it. It's just a day at a time, as you know, and great work on that. And then as far as the update on the Undefined Nutrition pre-workout, we have a lot of things happening with Undefined Nutrition. I'm probably going to do a video explaining some of this stuff, but Undefined Nutrition, we are taking over 100%. So there's been, some stuff, and when I started that company, I did have a business partner in it because I was new to supplements and trying to do all of it, and I feel like the way that I try to run companies, I need to be in full control. And that's basically what it has come down to with Undefined Nutrition. So everything that we do have in stock product wise is coming to Colorado, and we will be housing it here, figuring out how to do that and run the company. But I'm really working hard on some of the behind the scenes stuff as far as the restocks and that. I didn't get left in a great position with some of that stuff, and basically it's been kind of a hard lesson to learn. But as you guys know, I do not accept anything but the best, and that's exactly what I want and what I want out of Undefined Nutrition. So I have literally every single day been working on Undefined Nutrition. I'm so excited to show you guys some of that stuff. But as far as the restock goes, I'm trying my absolute best on the back end, and not that this matters. And again, it's all going to fall back on me and my shoulders. But there's been some, supply chain issues and, some stuff that's not necessarily in my control, unfortunately, but we're trying to work around it. And as soon as we have things back, there'll be better management through the whole thing. So I'm very sorry about that, but it will be coming and it will be awesome. So that's hopefully that answers your question. And I wish I could say something better, to be honest with you, because I don't like saying that we don't have it, and I don't have an exact date answer of when we will have it. But we're working through it hard. Believe me, I'm working hard. I'm pushing hard, and we're going to be taking that over and running it the way that that I want to run it, and it's going to be awesome. I promise you, it's going to be awesome. If Marius had one full year to prep to get back to strongman, would he be able to be as competitive like he was before? It's a tough question to answer. To be completely honest with you, Marius, by and large, his maximum strength was not necessarily the highest, but he was absolutely incredible with sub-maximal weights, and he could definitely do a tremendous amount of work with a sub-maximal weight. A lot of reps. His moving was very incredible. So there's certain events where, from a moving standpoint, Marius would be right at the top. But from a static standpoint, I feel like some of the weights that are getting lifted now would be more than he had ever lifted at his best. So it's hard to say. It's a tough question to answer. You know, I don't know. I don't know. And he's a very competitive athlete, and a great athlete at that. So, I think it would be more than he could probably handle with his size and his frame. But then again, I don't know. It's a good question, good question. I don't think we're ever going to see that. To be honest with you, I think he's more than happy with what he's been doing. I, talked to him several different times after he left the sport of strongman and told him that I wanted him to come back because I wanted to compete against him, and he said no all of those times. So I don't think we're going to be seeing that, but it's a hypothetical question. It's I suppose fun to talk about a little bit. Um, so let's see. So Ryan, I'll follow up with you, man, as far as the email goes, and get back to you so you and I can talk and a little bit more about that. But I appreciate you bringing it up, and we'll connect a little bit more when I'm done with this and can get back to you. So hopefully that works, man. I'm sorry if I missed anything there. I tried to register for a Evolution Athletics account to track my order, but it would not let me. The register button never activated to be clicked on. I also tried to use my club info to log in, unsuccessful. So if you can with that, can you please reach out to the email on Evolution Athletics, just so myself and my team can look into this and we can understand exactly what you're doing and how you're doing it, and try to get you the help that you need as far as that goes. How was the cheesecake bites and the shakes? Did you ever get the approval from your nutritionist? So cheesecake bites were tremendous. I will say that they're tiny, but I feel like they're pretty amazing. They were honestly, they were. So as far as the approval, I did get a text message after we made the video live, and Nathan got a kick out of me saying that it was not approved, but he told me that on training days that I did have the approval leading up to the Rogue Invitational here. So we're kind of going through the phases of my diet. We're trying to throw a little bit more with the calories, throw some more calories at me and that type of thing. And in the past, cheesecake on after hard training days is something that we have used. So I knew that he would probably be kind of okay with it, but they were amazing. I can say that I probably will be getting more of those in the future, but I'm having about that same serving as what I had in the video as well. So they're not very big, but it's kind of nice because they're not so big. I can try all three flavors of it, and it works out pretty good. So that's not a bad thing. How have you prepared for the Rogue Invitational Stones? My understanding is that you may not use Taki. How does this change how you lift them and train for it? So what I have done for the Rogue Invitational is I have been training with sandbags for that event. I decided, they're kind of like an egg-shaped stone, if you will, a little bit oblong, and I've never got to lift them. Some of the guys had them at the Arnold in last year in 2020, so they were able to lift them. And I've watched that video of how they were lifting them. It really didn't look like many of the guys were struggling with them too badly as far as the grip standpoint. But I'll be able to feel them when I get there. I just thought with the sandbags that I've been using, a sandbag you really have to dig in, especially a heavier sandbag, and grip really hard, squeeze really hard. So that's really what it comes down to. I mean, I'm not worried about my stone lifting ability, and it was more about squeezing and pulling and all of that. And I felt like the sandbags would give me a better carryover because I don't have necessarily the full set of the exact natural stones that we're going to lift there, and that's kind of been my approach, to be completely honest with you. When it comes to this, I could have used Atlas stones, but the Atlas stones that I train with do have some Taki that's built up on them, and then I didn't want to necessarily get used to having that as well. But it's I think we're allowed to use like a Taki towel, and that's the only thing we're able to use as far as that goes. So Taki towel, whatever, as long as the stones have a little bit of texture, which it looks like that they do, it shouldn't be too bad, to try to lift those. So that's the way that I've gone about that. and I'm hoping that it carries over well. It's an event that, for me, I don't want to overthink that, because at the end of the day, it's just a rock, series of stones, rocks, whatever, that we have to just pick up and move. So, as long as I'm strong in that movement, strong with the sandbags, my back is strong, my legs are strong, I should be fine. What has been your worst injury you have had to overcome, and how did you train through it? I would say, man, this is worst injury that I've had to overcome is actually the nerve damage that I got in my left arm and hand back in 2012 into 2013. That was the worst, because and I've talked about it a little bit before, but it was all from sleeping incorrectly. And so I was just crushing my ulnar nerve where it runs through your elbow. And that caused me to lose function of my hand. That ended up having my hand atrophy. So I lost a function of a lot of the muscles. I could no longer tie my shoes. I could no longer do some simple things. Getting dressed was very difficult for me, that type of stuff. So that was the hardest thing to work through and then overcome. And I ended up getting a nerve release surgery, and then had to go through a lot of physical therapy and training to teach my fingers how to move again and that type of thing. So it was a big challenge, but that injury was not from strongman. I would say, by and large, probably my worst injury directly from the sport of strongman was tearing my left bicep back in 2012. So that was, I don't want to say straightforward, but it was pretty straightforward. I was just smart with my recovery, smart with how I got back into it, gave myself time to heal, and knock on wood, I have not had a problem with that bicep since it got repaired. So let's see. All right, perfect. No problem, Brian. Thank you for your kind words. I can't wait for the improved pre-workout. I hope the rest of your day continues to be great. I appreciate that, and I promise it's gonna be awesome. I'm very, very excited about it, and I'm having a hard time waiting myself, because I want it done now, and I want everything done now, of course. But I'm pushing as hard as I can. Trust me. Good afternoon, Brian. Thanks again for making the time to run these Q&A sessions. At what point did you realize you were stronger than most others and could turn it into a career? So that's a good question. I would say I probably didn't realize how strong I was until maybe at some point in college. I started to realize a little bit more. Probably in college, because I was playing basketball at that time, and there were things I remember in practice. Being a post player, there were things that my coach at that time would tell me. Like, I was literally the only player on the team that he would say, "Hey guys, you need to go down and hit somebody as hard as you can, but Brian, you can't do that." So that is actually true. I was a very physical player, and I don't think I realized at the time how strong I actually was. But I can say, playing basketball, for example, I played against guys that at that time actually did at some points outweigh me, or were taller, whatever, but I could move them around easily. I could move them wherever I wanted to. I could, push them. I could, it was just very, very simple for me, not something that I had to really think about. And so, I think later on in life, then I look back at my childhood, and there were things that I was doing when I was a kid that were not necessarily normal. But at the time, I didn't realize that. I just, I was working on a farm and doing different things when, I was 12, 13 years old. And, I could do stuff that was pretty crazy, looking back. But again, it was just because that was what needed to get done. So, I think after I got out of college probably and entered my first strongman contest, and then started, going a little bit further, I started to realize that I had a lot of gifts to do this sport, and gifts of strength and things like that. So, as far as making a career out of it, Uh, it kind of naturally happened. I mean, I was still working and had a job and whatever, but I've always had big goals and I've always had big dreams and things that I wanted to achieve and things that I wanted to do that other people thought were crazy, and that's kind of just been throughout my life. And there's some people that have believed in me, some people that didn't believe in me, but I always believed in myself and was willing to work harder to make those things a reality. And so that's kind of, where I guess my mindset was with it. So yeah, it's been a fun ride, and it's rewarding to see the hard work pay off over the years. Do you always use water for your shakes, or use any type of milk or alternatives? I just changed over to unsweet almond milk by Blue Diamond. It's been a nice change up, flavor, texture. Yeah, for the most part, for me, water is has been the way that I have gone in the past. Growing up for a long time, I was wanting the extra calories, so I would put in like mix it with a whole milk and do that with the shake. I would say that an almond milk can be a great substitute to throw in there. It'll give it a little bit more like a creamy texture, if you will, and make it taste better as well. So I would say that I would be on board with that as well. And you just saying that kind of makes me want to do that. But the way that Nathan writes out my diet, he tells me what to mix things with. So right now he's wanting me with the protein to just mix it with the water. So I'll follow that as well. But almond milk, I think, is a solid choice. Do you have any tips for hitting a PR? I've been stuck benching 205 for a few months. So when it comes to this, and especially bench press, what I would look at first is where you getting caught up with the lift, right? Is it off your chest? Is that the problem? Or is it, through the mid range, or is it more a lockout issue? And then once you identify that area that you need to work on a little bit more, you need to get stronger, then I would say that one of the things that I would throw in, if you haven't thrown this in, is doing more of a pin press and setting up so go inside a power rack, set up the safeties at the height that you're having an issue with. So whether that's a couple inches off your chest or 4 or 5, or, closer to the lockout, you can do that pin press. And then I would also rotate in using band tension with that pin press. It's one of the things that I really really like, especially for overloading the top end, building up that tricep strength. So start with the pin press, and then you're just basically pressing off of the safeties on the side, and that's where you can go now. As far as hitting a new PR with that lift, I would give yourself a little bit of time before you try it again. So try to build up that strength and build up the strength in the areas that you're going to need to go after and lift a bigger weight. So it's always best with lifts, especially like a bench or something like that, to break it down into parts and then think about how you can get stronger for those parts, and then go back after you've trained those parts, and most likely you'll blow through 205 pretty easily. But that's what I would recommend. How does your body feel, and also how much will you up the calories the next phase? 11,000 maybe, or is it too much? Right now, my body's actually feeling pretty good. I'm happy about that. I'm really really happy because I feel like I'm eating more, I'm recovering more. I feel like my body weight is going up, but that's part of eating more and training harder for me. So I feel like I'm going to find hopefully a really good spot to come into this contest right now. But I would say there probably will be a day or two where I'm over 10,000 calories, maybe 11,000, something like that, leading up to the contest, especially as I'm trying to load around that event. So it's going to be a lot of eating. I mean, I feel like I'm eating quite a bit now, but I'll definitely keep eating hard going into this contest, and I'm hoping it'll pay off. That's what I always did with the bigger Arnold performances that I did, and hopefully that, like I said, hopefully that pays off going into this event. Question from my kiddos: how many beds and toilets have you broke in your life? So it's a legitimate question, and it actually is, and the reason for that is I have broken beds and I also have broken toilets. Now, I've only actually ever broken one toilet where I actually like broke the porcelain part of the toilet. More common is toilet seats. Those are much, I guess, easier to break. So I've done more toilet seats, and then beds. I've probably done got a maybe three or four different beds. Probably, I'd have to think back. Maybe more than that. Because beds, it depends on the type of bed. But if the bed frame's not built to handle a bigger weight, it's not hard to break actually. I mean, you just sit down and break it. So I would say at least a few to answer that question. Um, Yoke into the log for time. What shoes will you wear? This is a good question. Actually, a good question. I've tested a couple different things with training, and right now I feel like based on the yoke being 1,000 pounds, it's not super heavy. I'm thinking that I'm probably going to wear my pressing shoes to carry the yoke, and then that way I'm more stable on the log. That's kind of the direction that I'm leaning right now. It may take my speed down on the yoke a little bit, but I feel like the more important part of that event is actually going to be the log press. So being more stable on that is kind of what I'm leaning towards for that event. Do you feel like you're at your strongest form right now, or was the 2017 year the strongest you've ever been? How do you feel health wise, mentally, and physically now compared to then? So I feel good. I feel really good. 20 I would say 2016, 2017 was definitely I was very strong in those years. 2015 as well. And then with 2017 it was kind of a lot that went on there, and then I kind of dropped back in some weight, and tried some different things, which I don't know if that was the right call at the time or not necessarily, but that's what I did. And I feel like I'm building back up there. I don't know that I'm necessarily if I had to be completely honest with you, I don't know if I'm in my strongest form right now compared to 2017. We will find out. I feel like I'm getting closer, overall, but I've been trying to play this game of balancing out with the way the sport has gone compared to then, being a little bit faster with some of the moving events and still trying to maintain more of the static strength. But back in like 2017, for example, it was all about static strength. It was not about anything but that. So I don't know, necessarily if from a static standpoint I'm as strong as that, but I feel like right now I'm pretty well rounded for all of the events, and that's where I need to be if I'm trying to win these contests right now, because some of the events are just a little bit different. They've changed a little bit since back then. So I'm trying to be at a point that I can kind of evolve with the contest and evolve with the sport. And if I was being honest with you, I feel like when it comes down to it, I enjoyed the 2016 and 2017 just because it was brutally heavy. Not a lot of movement, not a lot of that, and I feel like that was probably more fun for me in some ways. But then again, I do like the challenge of all the different events. So it's a little different now, but I feel good. I feel good mentally. I feel good physically. And I'm excited to go see what happens at this Rogue contest for sure. Next contest after the Rogue Invitational, I do not know. Do not know on that one. I'm gonna plan on taking a break. At least from competition. I've got a lot of other things that I'm not taking a break from, meaning like the business and a lot of the other stuff I'm trying to work on. But I really don't know. I'm going to kind of take a step back and just train for fun and whatever after this contest is over, and we will see. We'll see. Brian, what are your thoughts on the Rogue Thompson Fat Bells? Have you worked then them into your program, and what are you using them for? Thanks for taking my question. I actually love the Thompson Fat Bells. I really, really do. I've worked them into a lot of my training. I would say my favorite stuff to do with them is probably the shoulder pressing and some incline, well, flat bench too, but incline with the fat bells. And the reason for that is all the weight's centered on your hand, so you can rotate very, very easily. So in a shoulder press, it's a lot easier to keep a neutral grip with a shoulder press compared to a normal dumbbell because you've got so much weight in front to back with them. On top of that, I have really enjoyed doing like a clean and press with the fat bells, or a like a snatch type of movement, ground to overhead. Swings are great with them as well. So there's a lot of different stuff that I've tried to incorporate them into my training with. But I think they're a great product, and I actually really love having them in the gym for a lot of different things. How can I incorporate Persist ISO into my diet while training and trying to lose weight? Is it a good idea to do so? So Persist ISO is a whey isolate, which means it's not a lot of calories. So definitely, if you're trying to maintain a higher protein level when you're trying to lose weight, this is a great way to go. So you could take it, as kind of a meal, if you will. So you could have, like, for example, you could have some fruit and a shake, and maybe that could be a meal for you. Or you could take it after training. For example, when you're done training, maybe mixed in with, again, a fruit or something. It depends on how high you're trying to keep your carbs and your intake there. But in my case, I'm a big believer in trying to have a balanced diet where you're trying to get both fat, carbs, and protein, all of those into your diet, and not necessarily trying to go into a diet where you're only eating fat and protein and no carbs at all. I think it's a much healthier thing to have a balanced diet versus going to an extreme and taking everything out. Now, there are people that would claim otherwise and say different things, but I know for myself, when I feel the best, always eating a balanced diet. So that's what I would say. But you can definitely plug it in to a balanced diet and have it play its role for sure. So hopefully that answers your question on that. Any more info on the Shaw Classic 2022 venue location? So I cannot say. What's up, buddy? Do you want to say hi? No. Braxton is coming to say hi to me. You want to say hi to everybody right here? Come here.
Is it just a movie or something?
Yeah, it's just a movie. Look.
Hi.
Can you say hi?
Hi.
Good job, bud. I'm almost done. Okay. So as far as the Shaw Classic 2022, I can't say much more about that, just because we haven't been able to have our final meetings. As far as that, we have it reserved, but I want to make sure that all the everything is kind of checked off before I start saying too much about that. But as you guys know, being members here, you'll get that information. We're trying to plan, special opportunities that you guys are going to get a first crack at, hopefully, and that's kind of what we're planning. So as soon as I can, I promise I will. But I'm trying, like I said, a lot of different stuff going on. But that's one of the things that's on the list that I really want to get some answers on, is the Shaw Classic, and I've already started, the nuts and bolts moving, and that's unfortunately as much as I can say. Any info on the release date of the new shirt designs and colors? We have several different things that are coming as far as new shirt designs, colors, etc. Those are starting to come in. I actually have a couple that we're gonna get on the website, fairly soon. So I just saw those today. Carrie had them for me, so that's exciting. But they will be coming, I would say, over the next week or so. We're gonna be able to get a lot of stuff, week or couple weeks. I don't know when they're all gonna actually get here, but that's the plan, is to kind of just start putting them on to the website as they come as well. So definitely excited about that. let's see. Are you planning on one motion the first two logs and then slow on the third, or do you feel comfortable in one motion all three? We'll see. We'll see on that. I'm actually trying to make my full game plan right now at this moment as far as that's going to go. But it's the second event on day number 2 as well. Are you saying hi? Second event on day number 2, so I got to make sure that I feel good. But assuming the best way to do it would obviously be to one motion all three. I feel strong with it, and I would love to do that. That would be the best way to go, obviously, because I'd save time and score the best points on that event. So we'll see. We will see. But I'll go in. I need to kind of, like I said, I've got a couple more hard training sessions here and trying to make the final plans from a strategy standpoint. My son Liam says hi to Braxton and wants to know if you ever do any fishing over there in beautiful Colorado. Do we ever go fishing?
Yes.
You want to say? Come here. Have you ever caught a fish? You're being silly. Come here.
Yes.
Yeah. How big a fish did you catch?
Medium-sized.
Medium size? You never caught a big fish? Braxton is wanting to be on here.
Are you helping Dad?
So yes, and Braxton, do you want to say hi to Liam?
No.
You don't want to? Okay. Well, he does say hi to Liam, and Liam, I hope you're doing good, buddy. So let's see. I'll take a couple more questions here. How's the process of delegating responsibilities going? We'd love to see Brian Shaw, 5-time world's strongest man. I'll be honest, not great. It's not going great. I've got a lot on my plate and different things that we're trying to get done here. But I'm hoping that as things kind of level out, especially with undefined nutrition, that I've got kind of on the forefront of everything that I'm trying to get done right now, because I want to make that great, and I want to make a lot of things great. But I've got some time, especially after the Rogue Invitational, to kind of get some of that stuff balanced out. After, like I said, after I'm done competing, and then hopefully, going into next year, things can be smoother, things can be in a good spot, and I can hopefully kind of step back in some aspects and get to my training in that way. But I feel like I'm trying to find a good balance for everything, and that's what, at this point in my life, that's what I have to do. I go in and I've got that time to train, and I have to be in the moment training, and just basically when I'm in business mode, I have to be in business mode. When I'm in family mode, I got to be in family mode. When I'm in training mode, I have to be in training mode. So I just have to be able to flip that switch on and off and make it happen. And I feel like I've done pretty well this year overall, but I'm not gonna lie, it's something that it's when it comes to competing, it does make it more challenging. I've got a lot more on my plate than I would say most, if not all, of the other guys do. So it's something that I you just have to prioritize time, and that's something that I talk to you guys about a lot and share with you, is that if something's important, you make it happen, and if it's not important, then take it off your plate. So if I make it a priority, I try to go after it as hard as I can. Thank you guys, amazing always. Liam roared back at the screen. That's amazing. I'm happy to hear that. Go eat your food. I do have to eat after we're done with this for sure, as well. Any plans in the future to bring the Shaw Classic to other states? I enjoyed this year's Shaw Classic, being front row in the action. Thanks again. I don't know. I mean, that's one of those things that I would never say never as far as that goes. But I feel like we've got a lot of growth to still do here. And the easiest way to make that happen is for it to be, kind of in our backyard, so to speak, somewhere here in Colorado, where I can be a lot more in control of the setup and how things are going to go down and that type of thing. And maybe after it grows and there's more opportunities potentially to take it other places, then that might be a reality. But I would rather focus on one contest and try to make it the best that we possibly can before we get into, trying to expand into other states or even other countries for that matter. I just want to make sure that the first one is good. I think, sometimes businesses that have one location, they try to expand too quickly at some points instead of focusing on their one location and making it great before they take that step. I think you need to, kind of grow to the max, if you will, with that one event. And then at that point, it can open up a little bit more. So that's kind of my take on it is I'd rather run the one contest and make it amazing, make it as good as we possibly can, and pour everything into that one event, at least for now. And then we will see what the future holds. But it's tough to, I know there's people that would love to see it move. We got, different messages about having it in different countries and all of this stuff. But that turns into, quite a challenge, to be completely honest with you. So it's one of those things where I want to try to make it as good as we possibly can. Would like to see Max Stone this time. Interesting take on that. Max Stone, it would be interesting. I'm not gonna lie, it would be interesting to see how that would go down. But I don't know. I mean, you have to think about the whole contest and testing strength in the right ways. And, I don't know. It's an interesting thought though. Definitely an interesting thought. So, all right, guys. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up there today. I have literally an entire list of things that I still have to get done and finished up here, but I hope you all are doing amazing. Make sure to, take the next couple days here and finish out the week strong. Go after everything you want. You go after. I'm going to do the same. We're going to wrap up these next couple training sessions and make it happen. And I can't wait to bring the right package here to the Rogue Invitational and get after it and have an amazing contest there. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being members here on the club. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of this. And for now, go on to be great. We'll check you guys later.